Just one quick follow-up question. I know Senator Cortez Masto raised this issue too. The whole, now that the plan of adjustment has been approved by the court, what is the role of the Financial Oversight Management Board? And do we need to take action to clarify when that reaches finality?
Yes, I believe you do. What's happening is this. We just approved, the federal court just confirmed the plan of adjustment for the government of Puerto Rico. That's a milestone. The bankruptcy is going to be behind us. We just need to issue the restructured bonds on March 15th, which is fast approaching. There are two other reorgs or restructurings, bond restructurings that need to occur. They're important. The power authorities, bond restructuring, as well as the highway and transportation authorities. Power authority, you're talking about $9 billion. The other one is $4 billion. So you're talking about serious bond restructurings. Once those two are done, and we are able to publish all outstanding or pending audited financial statements for the government of Puerto Rico, it'll be the ideal point for the board to part ways. And I say this with respect. Chairman, fellow former governor, I mean, you know that you all know the budget process is very important. That's where you set your priorities. That's where elected officials, I'm not talking about myself as governor, the legislators as well, set their priorities. And the problem has been that the board, before my tenure, became so granular in approving budgets in Puerto Rico that because Promesa says that they need to approve any reprogramming, it is incredible. It's becoming a bureaucratic a layer that we shouldn't have in Puerto Rico. We want to expedite things in Puerto Rico. Just let me give you a stat. In this fiscal year, starting in July, we have submitted to the board 267 reprogramming requests. And it takes roughly 3 weeks on average for the board to reply. I have been telling the board, hey, you need to expedite this. And so what we want is once the bond restructurings are done, once the financial statements are, audited financial statements are out, the spirit of Promesa, if not the letter says, once Puerto Rico is able to balance its budgets, and we will definitely be able to, given the debt restructuring that just happened, and once Puerto Rico regains access to the capital markets, and I tell you, the way that the bonds are being sold and at the prices they're being sold at, it shows that we have adequate access to the markets already. The board should not exist anymore. It is undemocratic. We did it. I was in Congress when we did it because we had no choice. The government then was about to default on its general obligation bonds. Nobody liked that vote. And some members of the Senate, a minority, didn't vote for it, but a wide majority did. And in the same happened in the House. If I'm telling you with a straight face that it's about time to start this conversation and at some point provide so that the government of Puerto Rico substitutes for the board in dealing with Promesa or any other restructuring effort in the future, it is for the better.
This question might have been asked, if I may. Okay, the only thing I would ask, do you all have a balance, do the territories have balanced budget amendments like states do?
We do. In Puerto Rico, as
but you must have got behind, you must have had, I mean, it didn't work.
Yes.
Whoever, the discipline wasn't there, something happened.
The discipline wasn't there.
As a former governor, I couldn't go a week without making adjustments. Every week, like clockwork, I had to make an adjustment. So if you got out of whack, it's because someone wasn't paying attention. The federal government stepped in. They're going to have to show good cause or reasons to give you the lead way again. And I think that's what we're probably running up against right now. I know it's been, and also the people that are administering this too. There's been a tug of war. Who's doing what and this and that. I've heard all about that. Who's on whose side, right?
Yes, but again, we just went through this unprecedented bankruptcy process. The debt level we'll have is clearly sustainable. By the way, we were committed to paying roughly 25 cents of the revenues the government got now will be paying 7.8 cents on the dollar as opposed to 25 cents. It's incredible savings.
Right.
And we're doing all the right things. I have to give credit to the board. There's a lot more transparency in Puerto Rico's, with respect to Puerto Rico's finances ever. And that's to the board's credit. But it comes a time when you need the elected officials to be the ones
Sure.
setting the priorities. And every 4 years we have elections like you do here. Nobody in Puerto Rico wants to go through this mess we went through. The austerity we faced in the last years was something. And we don't want to go there again.
Well, the bond rating is
but
basically-
but I say this with respect. It's just a matter that it could be a simple, straightforward amendment to the Promesa law. And when the time comes, once the PREPA, the power company restructuring happens, and the highway authority restructuring happens, it'll be the ideal point, I tell you, to allow Puerto Rico to have self-government again. Democracy again.
Senator Hirono, I think you might have had another question.
Just listening to your testimony and the high cost of everything in